you know.
Well, I mean, do you
Um,
think it was right for Agnes to say, oh, the game was horrible, shit, completely?
no, I think that I think that what she should have done is done her best to make it better. I mean,
Yeah, and that's what you
yeah,
did, right?
that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did.
And
And
she just
and
translated it, went online to her blog, and said this game sucked. I hate the
it's
script.
well, first of all, I'd like to point out that I was really in conflict about saying anything about in this interview. And I haven't said anything for 9 years, but that's 9 years that no one's contacted me from Konami, and I feel like I've just been shit upon, this whole time. So finally, I'm telling my side of the story. You want to put it that way, but no, she shouldn't have gone on right after the job is done and talked shit. No way. Um,
It's just not right. You don't do that.
and what she did was no different than what the voice actors do. They just kind of asleep at the wheel. Just what do they call it? Putting in your just putting in your time. Just
Yeah, just go out the door and
going through the motions.
yeah,
Just going through the motions,
another
doing the
name to add to your
translation.
credit and everything like that.
Translating on autopilot.
I think that Agnes, she translates a lot of good stuff. Maybe she translates, literature, and so they got her because she's a great translator. So what is a person who translates literature going to read? You're going to think when she gets this. Oh, they want me to do a translation in 3 months of a video game? Ugh. Last video game I played was Pac-Man. This is nothing like the Russian novel I just did. And the fuck do I care about this? So I'll just get it done.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
I like I, I like games even now. So
she did a Katamari Damashi. She was kind of the
oh
driving
yeah,
force behind making it overly,
really?
yeah, overly girly and yay, it's Katamari Damashi, and
Oh, is that right? I didn't know she's really so she's in the industry.
she's still in. I'm not. I don't. I'm sure about her other work.
I
I
think
just
she's
know that
just a
she knits. She posts on her blog here and there. She
yeah.
like I hate Metal Gear Solid 2 now. Look at my new shoes I just made.
Hey, if anybody out there listening wants to like help me with my entire internet presence, man, I have money. I just suck at like all things internet. Like, I don't want to spend my time blogging, man, and I don't, you know,
Well,
it's like,
Agnes does a good job of not doing it correctly. I mean, that's like
is that
working.
right?
Yeah, that's like working at Wendy's and going back and writing a sticky at this job sucks and posting it right in the manager's door. It's just what
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
did.
Yeah,
That's not what
blogs
you
can
do.
be a real double-edged sword because it lets you get your thoughts out and be personal and reach out, but now you've got employers, Google searching possible
Well,
applicants.
yeah, I mean that's right, and I think
That's
that's
what
why I
happened with
was,
David Jaffe, actually.
and that's these things they live forever, and this podcast that I just did with you, um, I probably wouldn't have done it if I thought there was any chance of my ever getting any work from Kojima again, but I don't really think there is, or Konami for that matter.
Konami
What
doesn't.
happens is contacts dry up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been 15 years since I was at Konami, and people move to different positions, and contacts dry up, and so I pretty much played it out. I think.
Yeah.
Plus, the whole industry has changed so much for localizers. When I started doing this, there wasn't anybody else doing it, and there certainly wasn't anyone good at it. And if you think now about just the brain drain from Square Enix alone,
Oh gosh, those guys, their
you know,
translations,
yeah, I
man.
mean, think about the
Final
brain
Fantasy
drain
748.
and all those guys that have done a bit on a translation for them, or I've done. I don't know if you guys know how many games I've translated. I've translated a ton of games, so I
Yeah.
hire people for them, and they get experience with me, and then they start their own websites, and they say I'm a game translator. So there's tons and tons now of game translators, and there's websites where people bid for lower prices to translate things. So it kind of sucks now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. Well, you mean I haven't played Shadow Hearts. I always mean to, but it's kind of hard to pick up a copy these days. It seems to be out of
Yeah,
print.
yeah.
And like, how massive is that game? Pretty big, you would say, or
As a player.
well, as a translator, like how?
Oh, there was a ton of movie scenes in it, you know, and
Yeah.
we spent a long time. We spent a month in LA doing the recording, so there was really a lot. There's like 4 hours of video in it,
Yeah.
and I was just really happy with the performances we got out of the actors. I was very happy with the scripts, um, and I think that it was a great game. It was like it's really funny as hell. What a great script! I just think that those guys wrote a great fucking story.
I
Really
mean, I
great
heard
story.
nothing but good stuff about the story. I mean, it's supposed to be.
I was impressed. I was really impressed, and
Uh,
I got up for doing a good job on it too. And,
but I mean, like, it's just you seem like the last person to do some translation this seriously, where people are. I mean, you did it yourself. I was reading interviews with Capcom translators. There's like four of these guys working on each game. As you
yeah,
did
that's what I'm
every.
saying. And now they don't do it. No one has the time now to allow one translator to work on a game. But if you really want a game to, if you really want something to be good, that's the way to do it. Because, just as you have a Kojima imposing a vision on a game, right? You have to have a translator imposing a vision on a translation. This is the English language of the game is nothing more than these visuals, but the language is the mode that we think about the game in. It's everything for us. So I don't understand how people can can be so short sighted about the translation. And I think that uh, the Japanese creators of these games have to understand that it's a separate product senses, in some sense, and you have to.
Different perspective
You
on
have,
things.
yeah, you got to give enough room to the translators, and the best thing the game developers can do is to say, you guys localizers, you take it and just make the best French language game or English language game that you can make without trying to. You can't serve two masters. And in these cases, the masters are one, the community that's going to receive the game, and two, the people who made it. You can't serve them both. You have to decide which one, and you can't serve. Oh, the otaku fans want me to keep in, salmon roe. Like I'm supposed to say that this is like a salt dried salmon roe, instead of saying it's a fucking trout or whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, great. It's a salt dried miso, you know, tinted salmon roe.
Yeah.
Great. Now you know what it is. But on the other hand, I'd like to keep Japanese words in there. If there's a cultural issue that doesn't exist, in America, I don't like to. I'd rather keep it there. So
Yeah, like
lots of issues like what would be an example like a kotatsu. Kotatsu is a little table that you sit at, a heated table, right? You know, in the winter you sit under this heated table with a blanket. Right? So what are you going to do? You're going to say, are you going to tell you're going to translate it and say, try to include some text that says a kotatsu is a Japanese heated table that people sit at, and so now some people are going to have learned something, or am I going to say, it's just a table because you can't, doesn't matter, or am I going to say, it's a heated table?
yeah. I mean, I just don't see why some people are so anal. Like, make keep it like this. Keep the names Japanese. I mean, like the Japanese name for solid snake or the pronunciation was it Soriru Snaku or something.
Yeah.
That sounds so silly. But I mean, that's just the
Well,
way they say it.
I remember having a conversation with Kojima about specifically about the code names,
Hmm.
Revolver, Ocelot, and whatnot. And I said to him, um, I wanted to change the names. Now looking back on it, I guess he was probably right, but I don't think he thought through his thinking on it. I said to him, you call someone Revolver Ocelot, and that has a certain kind of um, hibiki, a kind of a echo to a Japanese person, right? They hear Riboruba Oseroto, right?
Hmm.
And maybe a Japanese person has heard the word Riboruba. It's an exotic word for a Japanese person, but they probably have heard the word. And they maybe know it's kind of associated with guns. They wouldn't have heard Ocelot. They wouldn't have known that name.
Yeah, in
So the
Japan.
point I'm making is that the impact that the names Revolver Ocelot or Psycho Mantis have on a Japanese person is, let's say it's here. Okay, I'm holding my hand up. That's where the Japanese people receive the name and it impacts them. Okay,
Hmm.
and let's say that's how Kojima wanted to impact them. Okay,
All right.
but it's not going to have the same impact on an American person who hears a Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah, I mean, a Rovo
We can we
Hashlat's
can
two words
you
that don't match.
you can